All right, let's see if we can do this in one take. I need to get some out. But before I update you guys with how things are going, this log, and I'd say actually this whole prep is dedicated to the parents. Like, there's just so many things. And I know it's a reoccurring theme, and it's like, yo, Bert, like, we know, get over it, like, move on, right? But it's, you don't know till you're there, man. And I think for those reasons, this has definitely been the hardest prep ever, but I want to like push through, like make it, put something out there that's really good to honor all of those folks who have done this prior to me, right? So like getting your pro card, I think is like this exclusive club. I think this is kind of like another exclusive club that you get to join. So it's just been the hardest prep ever. Honestly, I can't think of one other prep where I guess it was objectively harder than this, because I think a lot of previous preps were hard because I didn't know as much as I do now. I didn't know myself as well as I know myself now. Man, that can cause all sorts of anxiety, and you got monsters in your closet. Where is this go around, like I'm bodybuilding, I'm coaching, but like the other third of my day is basically not only what does like my baby girl need, but what does my wife, who's she spends most of the day with her, need, right? I just don't have time to suck, like, at all. Like, end of the day, I don't have time to suck. Like, it's much different when you are having one of those days and you kind of get to set the tone and the pace of the day, or at least a big fraction of the day, usually the later portions of the day. And that's just not the case. This is why you do these things. And again, it's a luxury to do this. First world synthetic problem that we put ourselves through this. And yeah, you can view it from that perspective, but at the same time, I do think there's something admirable about deciding I'm going to put myself like through this, like intentionally. I'm going to make my life a little bit more difficult. That's been the main theme, is like bodybuilding's hard. Working with my athletes, it's always like white knuckling, because you want to see these people succeed and develop and grow, and not just grow muscles, but grow as people. But at the same time, it's like, while all this is going on, it's like, I don't just have to be present. I have to like really show up, because I'm in charge of ideally like developing a good little human that contributes to society. So other than that, training's been what it needs to be right now. But I think the biggest difference is just like being realistic with like what you can absorb and take on, and what your capabilities are on that day, and how that doesn't necessarily mean much in the long term. Because in the off season, if you're having like an off day and you didn't perform the way you thought you would, you just kind of shrug it off and move on. Whereas like when you're prepping, it's very easy to have this nihilistic view about how, oh shoot, I either lost muscle already and that's showing up in my lifting, or this is where I just start losing muscle and losing strength, and damn it, I did it again, right? And I think the biggest example of this is going to be like my dumbbell chest press. On that one, I've been able to stay between like 9 and 11 reps with like 90 pounds. Like sometimes it's on the lower end, sometimes it's on the higher end, and I'm just kind of indifferent about what it is. It's like I have my rep range, I have the effort that I'm assigned to in every set, just do it. So training has been a little erratic, but I'd say much less erratic than in previous years, because I kind of just let it do its thing. And this is one thing I say a lot about bodybuilders. Like the really good ones, it doesn't seem like they're kind of fighting the game, right? Like the game's just kind of coming to them and they don't fight it. Whereas folks who, just aren't there yet, newer folks in particular, like they're just tied up in knots, and it's frantic to even look at sometimes. We've been doing a really good job of that. Training has been quite enjoyable because, I'm just getting better at training in those underfed states. With less body fat than my body would like. But also I'm just having an easier time just being objective, accepting, but at the same time, not underestimating what my body can do. From a nutritional standpoint, my system's pretty easy. Again, I don't track, but I do break my day into like thirds, basically, the morning, afternoon, and then evening. I kind of know just because, hey, I tracked forever. I've always had a diet with like wide variety. I kind of know like what's in everything. And I think a good place to objectively quantify this, I'd say that all my meals at the start of the prep were like about 1,000 a piece. Boom, boom, boom. As things stagnate, or maybe I'm not where I need to be like right now, and man, do I know this trail, this contest prep trail. Like I know when I am like 5 days ahead, when I am 10 days behind. Like it's wild to me. Like I've just gone up and down that mountain so many times. So based off that, based off like what the next few days are going to look like from a training perspective, from a real life perspective, I kind of decide how I'm going to pace and like move and adjust those meals, but also based on like just like how am I doing that day. So if I'm like motivated and not very hungry, good energy, this next segment of my day is going to be pretty idle, I'll pull back on those. And I just get a little bit more assertive with it. And I allow myself to feel as uncomfortable as I need to feel with like every third of the day, and again, like 3 times a day, I kind of ask myself, how am I doing? How do I think, how was I doing, the few hours prior? If I eat this, how will I do moving forward? So it's very instinctual, but again, it's like I've gone up this trail so many times that I don't need to bust out the map. I just kind of know what it should feel like. And I am at the state right now where on the 1 to 10 on the shittiness scale, I think when you start prep, it's probably, honestly, like 3. 3 is pretty appropriate for most folks, but you're so motivated. Changes happen so quickly. And now I'm at the point where like I need to see some moments of like 9, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, but I can't live there for too long, because once you've done it where not only did you get in shape, but you lost muscle getting into shape, in hindsight, you can look back and you're like, oh, okay, like I kind of know where that happened, but you can't live there. And you have to be okay with that. And it's crazy because sometimes when people see like a real shredded physique that maintained all their muscle mass, first thing that comes to mind is like, man, how much did that have to suck to like they can probably tolerate some pain. And I agree that, yeah, absolutely they can. But at the same time, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, they're also really good at knowing when that's just like too much and they need to pull back a little bit. So yeah, I allow myself to have some really big dips in energy, to get decently flat. But I also know like when, like for me, like I'm crossing that line. I'd estimate my calories are somewhere around the 2,500 calorie range. And if I'm feeling really good, I still will get these random days where I'm like, man, I'm feeling really good. I'm about to some scheduled to like have a refeed tomorrow. I'll bust out something so low that I think it would freak out some people. But like, there's just some days where it's like, man, iron's hot. It's like, go hit that PR on that RDL. Same thing with dieting. It's like, you feeling yourself? Let's do it. Why not? Let's spurt. So yeah, still refeeding. I usually refeed either Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or I will do Saturday, Sunday, or Wednesday, just kind of depending on how I'm feeling. But this format has worked really well for me. And refeeding, again, just means I take my calories up to, I'd say not just maintenance, but probably a small surplus on paper. Because remember, you still have these glycogen reserves that have to be filled out. So it's your daily caloric needs, but also you got that well to fill out, right? So, you add that plus all the other things that your body probably has been a little behind on. The first day can be pretty assertive, not for everyone, for some people, and especially in my case. So it's probably a small surplus. Outside of that, cardio. I started going on basically 45-minute walks, and very recently I started back up on the Peloton bike just because it's gotten a little bit colder. It's a little bit more convenient because I don't have to get myself ready to, go walk. And we're doing that basically 5 times a week. I think this is the most cardio I've ever done, but at the same time, I'm pretty sedentary. I enjoy it so far. It's been, time consuming. That's the only thing I dislike about it, but doing it itself, whether it's walking or just, casual strolling on the bike, has been fun. I feel great afterwards. I think that's probably why I don't seem to mind it. If it's some form of exercise, I want to get good at it. And especially with the bike, I really have to tame myself because you can see how other people are doing who are also cycling in that course, the same course you are. And sometimes I just want to smash people, but it's like, no. You have your own set of goals. You're doing this for different reasons. 4 to 5 days a week, I'd say about 45 minutes is what we're doing. And then finally, physique wise, this is what I'm looking like. Yeah, things are looking quite good, I'd say. I'm, 6 weeks out right now for my first show. We'll get into that at the end, what the shows are going to be. I suspect the scale's not going to move too much from here. However, I think the visual changes will be quite drastic. I'm a little frustrated with how soft my glutes still are. But like I mentioned before, I'm posing them very differently. In years past, I used to just like squeeze my butt and like rotate my pelvis. This year, I want more adductors showing. And yes, my glutes are flexed, but they're also like kind of puffed out. It takes a different level of conditioning to get your glutes to show with that type of posing. But I do think it just lends to better symmetry all around. So that's my goal. That's how I'm trying to do it this year. I'm sticking to it, man. I could just squeeze my butt and say I got striated glutes. Big picture-wise, not missing the forest for the trees. I think that's the way for me to set up my pelvis on these poses. But overall, like, this is about where I should be. I do think I'm about maybe 5-7 days behind where I would like to be. Also, I'll remedy that like very quickly, almost very passively in my head. I just look for little opportunities to spurt and it'll take place. Finally, shows WNBF Muscle Mayhem. That's November 8th. NPC Rocky, Tokyo Joe's. It's a little local NPC show here. That's November 15th. And then finally, WNBF Worlds. I don't know if I'm competing November. I think it's 23rd. November 23rd, I believe, is when I'm competing. So yeah, those 3 shows. I was supposed to have an ANBF show November 1st, not the ANBF, like, here in the States. I do believe they do some stuff internationally as well, but the Austrian Federation, I've always seen their shows, the quality of athletes that they have on there. Like that's one of those shows where world champs will go, like people who've won their class at Worlds, and because literally it's all the beasts from all the different federations, like these dudes will finish outside of the top 5. And that's how I wanted to open up my season. I wanted to just start with the biggest challenge, one could argue, get mobbed, and but also get some guys, tag some guys that I think I would take pride in saying like, hey, I got you this time. You'll probably get me next time, but I'll get you a few more times. I wanted some of that, but it just didn't fit with personal logistics. But at some point, I do want to get out there and do a show in Austria, but this just wasn't the year. So yeah, 3 shows instead of 4. They're all like back-to-back weeks. When we get there, we'll go over the peaking, but honestly, like it's actually easier when you're doing it naturally to peak for consecutive shows. So that's how I'm doing. Life is good, hardest prep ever, but that's partially why life is good right now.